Islam's big. I mean, he easily could be fighting at 170. It's probably torture for him to get down to 155.
Yeah.
Whenever I interview him, I'm like, how are you 155? This is so crazy.
That will show rough weight cuts for him, it seems like.
It's rough. Yeah. He's big. He's probably 190 plus.
I'm big too. Yes, you are, by the way. I know I can take second weight. This is my dream, no? 2 belts, 2 shoulders.
2 belts, 2 shoulders. Bye-bye.
He walked into the room and everything went quiet. Islam Makhachev didn't look like a lightweight anymore. The shoulders were thicker, the trap sat higher, and even the way he moved looked heavier, more grounded. Joe Rogan took one look and blurted the thought a lot of people had been sitting on. This guy does not look like 155. Not now. Not after months of adding size on purpose. And if the body has changed this much, the story changes with it. Rogan has harped on extreme cuts for years, calling the whole process a kind of sanctioned gaming of the system. Fighters suffer for 36 hours, then rehydrate and stroll into the cage holding a size advantage the paperwork never shows. With Islam, the math always seemed obvious. Camp weight around 179 or 180, then a brutal squeeze to 155, then a rebound that left him looking like a compact welterweight on fight night. It worked. It just wasn't built to last forever. What shocked Rogan wasn't vanity muscle, it was intention. The wider frame suggests he stopped fighting his own biology. Instead of draining down to keep a number, he's letting his best engine breathe. The payoff could be speed with extra force, cleaner entries that aren't dulled by dehydration.
Islam Makhachev should not move up to fight Jack Della Maddalena. UFC has not been the most exciting for like a year now, and you have the option to make Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria, which would be the biggest fight, the best fight, the most competitive fight to make right now, and you want to give a title shot to Islam Makhachev at 170. I don't understand why. I really
don't. Him up there. Maybe he thinks he has what it takes to go collect that double belt because he has a loss on his record. And the thing is, if he wants to get closer to GOAT status, he needs to capture more belts. He can't go down. His only option is to go up. And if Belal did not have that belt, they would 100% take that fight and go up and get that welterweight belt.
And scrambles fueled by legs that didn't get cooked in a sauna. That changes the feel of a fight. If your gas tank starts full and your head is clear, your choices get sharper, and sharp choices win close moments. People keep asking whether the power carries up. That's fair. Welterweights don't fold the same way. Their hips are heavier, clinches stick longer, and jabs land like kicks. But Islam's danger was never just bulk, it was balance. He stays centered. He never panics in transitions. He rides the mat like the floor tilts in his favor. When he added the head kick knockout over Alexander Volkanovski, Rogan said it showed how quickly Islam's timing had evolved.
But Islam have beaten everyone in this division. Literally, Dan Hooker, Arman, Charles Oliveira. He's on a 15-fight winning streak. Finished 10 of his last 9 opponents. It's nothing as anybody deserves.
Lightweight champion Islam Makhachev is going to move up to the welterweight division to face Jack Della Maddalena. What do we all love about Islam? If he had moved up to fight Belal, he was a 5-1 favorite. Moving up to fight Jack, the odds makers have this fight at even. This guy is a beast. Islam is the fight.
Wrestling stayed world class. The striking got surgical, so moving to 170 isn't a stunt. It's a clean break. He vacated a belt he wasn't close to losing and aimed straight at the new king, Jack Della Maddalena. That alone tells you something about mindset. Jack's boxing is crisp and mean, the kind that punishes sloppy entries. Yet if Islam's bulked frame lets him level change later and shoot through the hips with less telegraph, the danger flips. One clean clasp on the body lock, one trip against the fence, and Jack's tidy combinations start drowning in options. Not everyone thinks Jack is the worst matchup. Some analysts point to Belal Muhammad as the true puzzle. Tight defense, relentless pace, and zero free mistakes. He won't chase counters, he won't accept bottom, he won't give easy wrist rides. Add 5 rounds and you start imagining a fight of small edges, cage cuts, resets, mat returns, where the man who blinks once pays for it. That's the welterweight reality. There's no aura grandfathered in. You have to earn every inch all over again, and then there's the noise. As soon as Islam's bulk became obvious, the internet asked the messy question, is this about weight or is it about Ilia Topuria? Fans love that storyline. Some say Islam wanted legacy 2-belt status regardless.
Do you believe that Islam could be the 185-pound champion if he wanted to, let's say, jump from 155 to middleweight at 185?
I 100% feel Islam can do that if that's what he wanted to do, but it's what he wants to do that will happen, not his ability. His ability, come on, I see it in the gym, guys, I see it, so I know how good this guy is. So yeah, 185 is not going to be an issue for him. It's a matter of whether he wants to. When he comes in training camp, he's always walking around 179, 180.
Islam Makhachev is vacating the belt and moving up to welterweight to take on champion Jack Della Maddalena. I cannot wait for this fight. We don't have an official date for this yet, but it will be soon. I assume over the summer, maybe in Abu Dhabi or something. But in terms of my early thoughts for this fight, I'm pretty confident Islam Makhachev is going to get the job done here. I am very high on Jack Della Maddalena. I think he's a great striker and his grappling is good enough to fend off a guy like Bilal, but I do not think it is good enough to fend off a guy like Islam Makhachev. I'm on the train that Islam Makhachev is the second best fighter in the world, only behind Ilia Topuria. I think he's pound for pound.
Others claim the timing lined up a little too perfectly once Ilya started angling for lightweight. To keep it honest, frame it right. Rumors suggest timelines overlapped, but nothing outside the camp is confirmed. What we know is simple. Islam walked away from one belt to chase another. Behind him, lightweight refuses to sit still. Charles Oliveira is never far from a title conversation. Topuria's rise has been fast and violent, and if he takes the vacant strap, pressure builds for a crossover. That's how these eras form. One champion moves up, another grabs the throne he left warm. The public imagines the meeting in the middle, and the longer both keep winning, the bigger the promise becomes. That's fuel. That's why even Rogan's surprise came with a grin. He likes chaos when the elite collide. The body transformation itself tells its own story. Arms look fuller, core looks like a column, shoulders cap out the frame instead of hanging forward. Those aren't just nice angles on a photo, they change how the clinch feels. Hand fights bite harder, trips land with more snap, even short shots in tight start to carry more meaning. If the speed survives the climb, and his team believes it will, that combination of mass and efficiency can make exchanges feel like someone is draping a weighted blanket over you, then closing doors. Of course, welterweight is a shark tank. Shavkat Rakhmonov lurks with a style built to slice people open. There are wrestlers who won't concede a grip, and kickers who will chop your lead leg before you've even shown your game. That's why you move up only when the timing is right. As cuts get harder, recovery gets slower, and the damage from camp starts to bleed into fight night. Islam is not old, but he's smart enough to get ahead of the curve. Better to grow into 170 than cling to 155 past the limit. There will always be doubters. Some remember the toughest minutes he had at lightweight and project them upward. They imagine sturdier versions of those opponents landing the same counters with extra heft. They picture a longer body making his rides less sticky, or a wider frame turning his single leg finishes into stalemates. And maybe there will be nights like that. That's part of the deal. The question isn't whether he'll hit resistance, it's whether the new engine lets him solve it faster than before. One thing you can bet on, he didn't make this switch to coast. Vacating a belt without a looming loss is a legacy play. If he takes Jack's title first, the conversations get loud immediately. Pound for pound lists, double champ clubs, super fights that feel like crossovers between eras. If he stumbles, the critics will say the frame fooled him. Either way, it's high risk, high reward, the kind of gamble that makes even seasoned voices like Rogan lean forward and say, let's see exactly how far this can go. And the style clash is compelling. Jack thrives when he walks you to the fence and wins the exchange by a hair, then wins the next one by a little more. Islam wants to make the fence his helper, then turn the floor into glue. The first clean cage touch might decide the tempo. If Islam claims the underhooks and steers, Jack has to reset. If Jack snaps the head back early and makes Islam hesitate, the entry's slow. That pendulum swing is why this matchup already feels like a pendulum with a razor on the end. Rogan's reaction captured the mood, shock at the visual, respect for the choice, curiosity about the consequences. He's seen body transformations that were mostly theater. This one looks like function, less shrink-wrapped, more fortified. If Islam really stopped paying the dehydration tax, we're about to learn what his game looks like at full battery. Clean decisions, late shots, pummeling rides. The style stays the same, but the volume knob twists up a notch. So the question becomes simple: can a champion who dominated one division carry that aura into a heavier room without losing the qualities that made him special? The answer rarely comes in a single night. It comes in rounds that look tricky until they don't, in scrambles where the new weight doesn't feel like a backpack, in those small moments where a fighter either breathes and chooses right or panics and gives the opening away. Islam has made a career of choosing right. The calendar whispers that the first test is coming soon, maybe under desert lights. Camps are tightening, film rooms are quiet, rumors swirl. When the music hits and the door shuts, the measurements stop being guesses. We'll see if the thicker frame translates into second and third efforts on takedowns, into meaner clinch breaks, into shots that don't need windup to land with bad intentions. We'll see if welterweights can absorb the pressure, or if the pressure gets heavier along with him. Either way, this is the kind of pivot that makes the sport feel alive. A fighter evolves, the body follows, and a whole division wakes up to the sound of new footsteps. Rogan saw the picture clearly. Islam Makhachev looks like a welterweight now. He carries himself like one, talks like one, and trains like he's tired of arguing with a scale. The rest is simple: pick the fight, walk forward. Prove the size wasn't the trick, the discipline was. And if he's right, the next belt won't look out of place on those broader shoulders. Let's find out.